One player that perhaps we'd have loved to have seen back in the England shirt, and it wasn't to be this time around, was Marcus Rashford. He scored 15 goals in his 51 appearances for England. Now, I'm not suggesting in any way he's the pretender to the throne, but as we know, he pulled out of the England squad through injury. A toe injury is what was cited as the issue for him pulling out. I don't know if you've seen this, Casper, on social media. He then posted pictures of himself on holiday, and this was in New York. Far be it from me to criticise a player going on holiday when we know that often the schedules are pretty packed and it's quite nice for them to get a break if they can have it. But is going to New York a city break where you expect to be walking around a fair bit? Kind of holiday a player should be going on when you supposedly have pulled out of England because of a toe injury?
Well, I would say your manager's not pleased with that. Why would he be? Because he even comments and he says, Gareth said, he hinted at his frustration over Marcus Rashford. And he said, well, with his withdrawal, how can you, decide on a player if he's not present? He hasn't been present enough. And then, England were unaware of a trip to New York. That's going to frustrate Gareth. Gareth wants ultimate loyalty. Now, some people will go, he's entitled to. He's injured and he's missing too many squad games. Maybe he's... look, and I know this and that, and I've said to you this privately off air, there's a good number of international players who suddenly pull out of squads for some, reason that feels a bit vague, but the team get on and win and you just move on. When I first made my debut in Switzerland, Liam Brady, who was in Juventus, he'd left Arsenal to go to Juventus. Liam turned up and met us in Switzerland for a game. And I remember thinking, we were out of the competition, really. We really had nothing left to play for. Liam turned up, and he was the best player at that time for Ireland. He was a major star in world football. This is going back into the early 80s. And I remember Liam turned up thinking, well, if Liam Brady turns up, and he didn't have to turn up because he wasn't even 100% fit to play, but he turned up.
Commitment, isn't it?
Commitment of the highest level. Now, this isn't commitment from Marcus, and there will be an element of frustration from Gareth, without a doubt. He might say all the right things and allude to it isn't an issue, but deep down he'll probably be saying, behind the scenes, we need more from Marcus.
But I think that's it at the end of the day, and I agree with you. I mean, I think if players can have a break, and they're having a break right now because some players aren't being used, so some can go on holiday and they can choose to have their lovely breaks. I think if he'd been pictured maybe at a beach, somewhere that looks relaxing, you might go, do you know what, that's all right, that's fine, because he's taking time out. But when you're going on a break that looks like a city break, like I say, where you're expecting to walk around a fair bit around New York, we know most people do walk around New York, it just doesn't sit well, does it? It doesn't look like you're really suffering with a toe injury that's made you pull out of an England squad.
Exactly. And
that is a problem.
Some managers don't like their players going long haul as well. Yeah. They even want to say, well, if you go, try and keep it a couple of hours on a flight. I think he's done brilliant. He's turned his career around at Manchester United fantastically.
And that's the shame of it, really, isn't it? Because he's done so well this season, and you think, well, we'd love to see you back in the England shirt.
There's going to be an element of frustration. What he's allowing is other players to come in and play really well. Foden's there, Saka's there, Kane's there. There's the three up front for me as England's best three. Yeah. Maybe he feels like, well, I don't know if I want to be a sub and just turn up for England and come off the bench, because even when he done really well in the World Cup in Qatar, he still was in and out of the team.
Every part, though, is important to be played. Yeah. Whether it's a squad player, first, it's just a shame, I think, for Marcus Rashford to not have been part of this England squad this time around. But who knows? We'll see what happens in the future.